Raider Nation, the silver and black attack is back. Today, our schedule's out. The draft is over. We got Ashton Genty. I don't think we made a video after that, so I guess we're gonna jump right into it with a schedule prediction, game by game. We love to do this. This is one of our favorite traditions of the off season. So, we'll get right into it. Week one at the New England Patriots, 10 a.m. game against Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels. It's gonna be a big game. This has got AFC playoff seeding on the line, week one tiebreaker scenarios. It's a big game in New England. I think we're going to come out on top. Drake May's a good young quarterback, but I think the rest of the roster isn't there yet. They picked Will Campbell out of LSU, who me and you were both not very high on in the draft. I think Ashton Genty is going to have a breakout game. I think our defense can handle Drake May. I think also Patrick Graham knows Josh McDaniel's system, so that's an advantage that we're going to have. And I think Pete Carroll, I would take him as a head coach over Mike Vrabel. So I think this game is going to be a win, starting off 1-0.
Yeah, moving on week two, Monday Night Football, home against the Chargers, and Harbaugh Carroll rivalry renewed. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to be there. We're going to be present. Monday Night Football. It's just going to be an insane atmosphere for Geno Smith. As you see right here, I already got the Team Geno jersey. I'm all in on Geno Smith. I feel like haven't been in on a quarterback for a while now, and I feel like we don't really have a choice. It's hard to be in on a guy like Gardner Minshew, but Geno's got a little bit of a track record, more so than last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and yeah, give us a win right here over the Los Angeles Chargers because it's going to be a shootout. Pete Carroll always plays Jim Harbaugh really well. You saw it in the NFC Championship game back in 2013. I mean, he outcoached him in that game. It was a low scoring game. And obviously the Sherman interception over Crabtree, our boy Crabtree, my favorite Raider receiver of all time. Um, yeah, giving us a win there. Moving on week three at the Commanders and a 10 a.m. window.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a tough game. Obviously, we're going to be big underdogs, probably 6, 7 point underdogs against the Commanders. I think
It's
honestly,
seven
we're going to
and
start. Yeah, easily. So I think we're gonna probably start at 2-1 at this point. I think honestly the Commander game we actually have a shot just because Patrick Graham's been notoriously good against these running quarterbacks in the past, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. We've had success against those guys in the past, so he has a good Ivy League playbook to dial up against those running QBs. So I think we'll actually make a game of it. I don't think we're gonna win this game. I think starting 3-0 is a really tough task. I don't think we can expect that from this team. So I think 2-1 at this point is pretty logical to me. So I got us taking the L to Washington.
Week four, home against the Chicago Bears. That's going to be a game. I think Caleb Williams, I'm really high on Caleb Williams. I've always liked Caleb Williams, USC legend. Made my last 2 years at USC really, really special. Despite not winning much, we still, had a lot of aura my junior year of college when all we had to do was beat Utah in Allegiant Stadium, which is right behind us. And we choked that game. But I'm high on Caleb Williams. I think Ben Johnson's going to bring a new presence to Chicago. But I like our odds in that game. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be early on for the Bears. And over here we're not extremely positive on the Raiders most times, but I think I'm going to give it over here, and I think I'm going to give it to us in probably a low scoring game, probably like a 20-17 or something along those lines. I think I see us going to 3-1, going to Indy for week five.
It's interesting you say that because I actually had us taking an L against Chicago just because Ben Johnson and Caleb. I think they're going to be a great team in the NFC North. I think they actually have a good chance of winning that division. So in that case, I don't see us going 4-1. I think we're not going to be 4-1. That's like echoing Raider D 14-3 prediction from last year. But so I got us taking the L actually in a trap game against Indy. Indy, Shane Steichen, Anthony Richardson, you know, honestly not a great organization. Rip Jim Irsay, he just passed away, their longtime owner. But the fact of the matter is we always lose to Indy. We've played Indy a few times, like in the past few seasons, and we only beat them one time and that was when we had Renfro and Carr and we clinched the playoffs. But other than that, they've really had our number as an organization, and I have us losing this game. I think as Raider fans, no matter who the regime is, there's always going to be trap games. We always lose these trap games that we should win, and I think Indy's going to be one of those games. I mean, we're 3-2 at this point. I think we can't complain with that as Raider fans. So 3-2 after week five at Indy.
I think it's important to note the Bears and the Colts game, it's going to go 1-1. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter. It doesn't matter which way it'll go. Bears win, Bears loss, Colts win, Colts loss. It's gonna go 1-1. I mean, we've know this. We've seen this too many times. Hopefully, Pete Carroll breaks this trend, that we have of collapsing late in the season and starting off a little bit slow. We haven't started off really quick, in the last like 3, 4 years. Um, Besides 2021, obviously, which was now almost 5 years, four seasons ago, which is crazy. But we got Cam Ward, the number one overall pick, coming to Allegiant Stadium. Um, I got to give it a win here. I mean, I don't know. You can disagree with me, but I think Brian Callahan and Cam Ward, it's going to take them a while to get in sync and get on the same page. Titans don't have that many playmakers. Calvin Ridley is their wide receiver one. I like this game for us. I think Pete Carroll is going to win this game just based off coaching. So I see us going to 4-2 right there, heading to Kansas City for week 8,
yeah.
7.
Agreed, we're going to beat Tennessee. I think that's a game we should win. I think we will win at home. KC, at KC, we're not going to win that game. I think it's always optimistic. We have it at KC every season, and we always say, oh, maybe there's a chance we win. I don't think there's a chance this season. I think Pete Carroll is going to be cold in Kansas City. Maybe it'll be actually pretty warm. It's week 7. It's actually lucky we got them early in the year. Whenever we play them, it's usually late in the year. It's always freezing cold. We always get cooked. But, I think this is a game we're not going to be expected to win. 10 a.m. kickoff against the best team in the league. It's tough, right? I think we're going to lose this game, and that's fine. You're 4-3, nothing to complain about going into the bye, so that's not a problem for us.
Yeah, then after the bye, we got the Jaguars coming in. I think that's going to be another easy game. I think this trend of the schedule is hard, easy, and this is another easy game right here. I don't think I think the Jags are all over the place. They did not play well last year. They fired their coach, new head coach. It's the Bucks OC, right? Liam Cohen is their new head
Yeah,
coach.
yeah.
Um, so we'll see how that goes. But I think we get a win right there again, and push ourselves to 5-3 going into Denver.
Yeah. So 5-3 is obviously you're in position at that point to be in the hunt. So 5-3 is a great record. I think going into Denver, it's a big game. Thursday Night Football, Al Michaels on Amazon Prime. It's a tough game. You're in Denver. You're former residents in Denver, but I think we're going to win. I think Sean Payton is an overrated head coach. I think Bo Nix, I wasn't very high on him, and neither were you coming out of the draft. He had a good rookie season, but I think that's a product of NFL teams not having a lot of tape on the guy. And now you're going to see coordinators like Patrick Graham be able to scheme up defenses against Bo Nix. I think their defense is good, but I think the rest of their weapons on offense, I think we can contain them. And I think we're going to win at Denver. I think we have a coaching advantage, like we have a quarterback advantage, and that's going to help us win this game. I think it'll be a high scoring game. I could see us winning 31-28 in a little bit of a shootout. So I got us winning against Denver. So that puts us to 6-3 after Thursday night.
Big game, Monday Night Football, Raiders, Cowboys. Cowboys coming to Las Vegas for the first time. I don't know if, yeah, I think for
Yeah.
the first time playing in Las Vegas, you can expect it to be all Dallas Cowboys fans in the stadium. Unfortunately, hopefully Pete Carroll will bring our guys in from somewhere. But we got Cowboys on Monday night. I think Cowboys sucked last year. Jack Prescott had a tough season. But I always like us in prime time over Dallas, and I don't think I can give us a loss right there. Thanksgiving 2021 in Dallas, the greatest Raider game of my life. Um, Moving on to what is that, 7-4?
I think we'd be 7-3 at this point. So
Okay.
the next game would be Cleveland at home, 105 game. I think this is going to be another win. We have this is basically us going to 8-3, which is an optimistic projection, I'll say, but that's fine. So Cleveland again, they're a pretty bad team. They have some quarterback issues. I don't know if Joe Flacco or Shador is going to be starting at this point. The rest of the roster is good, but I think we're a better team than them. I think we have a better quarterback. I think we have a better head coach, and I have us beating Cleveland at home. We just beat them last year with Antonio Pierce and Gardner Minshew. The worst head coach QB combo we've ever had, and we beat them. So I think we should beat them again with Carroll and Gino. So 8-3 going into Charger game in LA.
Chargers in LA, Broncos at home. Running. I'm gonna run the next two here. I think we lose both these games. I think just how the record has gone, and we never win the division, the series, over the division rivals. I think we always end up splitting with the Chargers and Broncos. Well, minus the last like 6 years before last year with Denver. So I see us splitting both these games. I think Denver is going to be tough this year again. The Chargers are also going to pick up their momentum by this point. So I see us losing both these games and dropping to 7-5, having a little hiccup come early December.
Yeah, and then next game at Philly, 10 a.m. Tough game. I think, the Super Bowl champs. It's tough to win this game. Again, I think it's going to be pretty close compared to whatever the consensus national media thinks, just because we're good against running quarterbacks. Patrick Graham knows how to scheme. We beat the Eagles a few years back. We blew them out at home, and they had Jalen Hurts and Sirianni. So I think it's going to be a close game. I don't see us winning. So that puts us to 7-6, dropping three in a row. So we're at 7-6 going into the Houston game at this point.
That's classic Raiders. That's classic Raiders at this point in the season. 7-6. Houston is going to be a really tough game. I think D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud are going to have it really figured out this year to the point where they won't, I don't know. Did they? It was Texans Chargers in the wild card last year, right? And they Texans won, I believe.
Yeah, Texans blew them out.
Yeah. So I think I would give it to Houston here. They're more, presence, on defense and offense both. They have an established kind of rhythm on offense, and I'm going to give this game to Houston, dropping us to 7-7, going to the last two games of the season. Wait, that's not right.
Yeah, we'd be 8-7. I
Eight
forgot. We're eight
seven.
and three after Cleveland, so we're 8-7 at this point.
Okay.
Giants at home, they could flex that game. We'll see. I think that's going to be a win. Russell Wilson, Brian Daboll. I think we're going to win that game. I think they're going to fire Daboll by that point. Fire Joe Shane. Their GM's kind of watching him on Hard Knocks. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think the Giants, they have a good defensive front, but I think our offensive line can keep those guys in check. I think we're going to win that game. So that brings us to what, 9-7 after 16 games.
Yeah, and then closing it out, we got the Chiefs at home, another flex game. Will probably end up being like a Sunday 1 p.m. window. I
Yeah.
doubt it's going to be for the division, this year at least, maybe next year. But this year, I think we're at 9-7 going to the last game of the season. I think if it comes down to that, we're going to win this game. We're going to push. And at that point, Kansas City might be resting their starters. You never know. So I think that's something to note. They're a -6 favorite already for week 18 already, which is a little crazy to believe. That'll be 2026. But I got the Raiders winning that game if we go into it 9-7. If we're anything under 9-7 going into that game, we're going to get blown out. That's just the nature of it. Um, but I think Geno Smith, I like him now. I mean, I've been watching him in camp. Ashton Genty's gonna kick some ass. I don't think he's gonna be a bust. But Raider Nation, that's our schedule prediction. We're back. Like, comment, subscribe. Silver and Black Attack gonna be coming back now. Season starting. And we're ready to go. So yeah, we'll catch you in the next video.